Good day, good evening, everyone out there in YouTube land and the Facebook community and wherever else this video may go. My name is Isaac Knight, and today I want to talk about W.A.P. W.A.P. That wet, right? Song by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, right? Um, I've watched a number of interviews on this song, right? And I've been out of the like rap and hip hop game for a while, right? I always tell people the story. I grew up on R&B and oldies and gospel and some alternative rock from various members of my family, right? That's what I grew up on, right? I wasn't exposed to hip hop until I want to say, what was it, middle school, when I started riding the bus. Like my elementary school, I walked to school because my school is right up the street. But at a certain point, I started riding the bus, and all the kids, wanted to listen to rap music, right? Matter of fact, I remember one time we had a bus driver. He turned on he turned on some country or something like that, and this girl was like, "Turn that white off." Like I don't know. It was just crazy. It was like an eye-opening experience for like me and my sister because, like I said, we grew up on oldies, gospel, and I had an older sister who listened to like alternative music and like some rock as well, and '90s R&B. That's what we grew up on. Baby, I love you. Stuff like that. So I went from Baby, I love you, or Jesus, I love you, and gospel, or Baby, I love you, and '90s and R&B and things of that nature, to Girl, I wanna you, right? On the radio. This isn't some secret adult music. No, just on the radio, right? And it was it was a ear opening, not eye opening, because I'm listening to it, right? An ear opening experience for me, right, and my sister. But anyway, so I listened to rap for a period of time, and then I became saved myself. Right, I'm born and raised in the church, but I gave my life personally to God. For those of you who have had that experience, where you're exposed to Christianity in some shape or form, whether you grew up in church or your grandmom always told you about God or what have you, right? And you transition from that to you yourself sought God, and you were yourself was filled with His Spirit. You know what I'm talking about. I had that experience, and after that, I didn't listen to anything, and I was just listening to worship music, and that phase more or less continues till this day. Now, in the midst of that, I've listened to like the radio and things of that nature, but I don't own any. I don't personally own any like rap CDs or anything like that. Having stated that, I know that rap culture is all about being gritty, right? And one thing, the first thing I want to say about WAP is this: that art. And I remember I did an art show in the city that I'm from before, and they had me go up there and give a little speech, right? Give my speech, uh, because I was part of the art loop or whatever, right? And I remember saying that art is just expressing yourself creatively. Expressing yourself is sharing externally with people around you how you feel internally, right? To that end, art covers a range of things, right? It's illustration and painting and things of that nature, like what I was doing. It's music, it's dance. There's a number of ways you can express yourself, and if you express yourself creatively, it's art, right? You can do that in cooking. You can do that in cleaning. You can express yourself creatively in cleaning. It's all art, right? Now, expressing what's in here out there, well, there's a lot in here, right? There's good, there's bad, and there's ugly, right? And you have a lot of people from different areas. So that's the first thing I will say about WAP, WAP. Number one, it's just an expression of where some people are at, right? So some people from certain climates, from certain neighborhoods, but it's just an expression of where certain people are at, right? But I wanted to lead with the good, right? The positive, right? Not that this is a positive thing about this, but it's more neutral than it is good or bad. Art is an expression of people, right? And you see good, and just like people and their heart are good, bad, ugly, been through some stuff. have been inspired, what have you. Music and art and illustrations, good, bad, ugly, inspirational, dark, right? Because it's just an expression of people, right? So WAP, you see what's inside of people, right? And the people who connect to it, who connect to the song. I'm not just saying the beat because you could talk about anything and people will connect to the beat. But I'm saying people who connect to the song specifically, who say, I feel empowered, what have you, right? It's an expression of people and it shows where some people are at, right? That's the first thing I'll say. Number two, I noticed in various interviews I watch, they turn it into a male versus female thing. Oh, us women feel empowered, but you men are getting offended. I don't think some people realize that it's a culture clash. It's not just male or female. And I say the same thing with the abortion issue. They try to turn the abortion issue into male versus female. Oh, it's women's rights versus a whole bunch of chauvinistic men who just want to oppress women and want to. It's like, oh, women, well, we want to sleep around too without consequence. Men get to sleep around without consequence. Women want to sleep around without consequence. It's not men versus women. It's a cultural thing. And you see this in the right versus left. You see this all throughout society, especially nowadays and the political state that we're in, right? It's a culture clash. It is not men versus women. It's not black versus white. It's a culture clash, and that's what people don't realize. It's sanctity and the family structure versus okay, we're just going to disassemble the family structure and we're going to promote things that uh, degrade and destroy the family structure, right? That's a real issue, right? And I say that because there are many women who are against abortion. So it is not a male or female thing. There are many men and there are many women against abortion. There are a number of men and there are a number of women for abortion. It's not a male or female thing. But a strategy that has been used by people who are pro choice, right, is to turn it into a male versus woman thing because then it's more sympathetic. I can sympathize with a woman's rights, right? But if I realize the truth that many, many thousands of millions plus women are against abortion as well as men, then I can't use that and I can't get people to sympathize for the fact that, hey, I just had this one night stand with this dude. I didn't know I was going to get pregnant and I want to abort it, right? Using the off examples or the very small percentage of like rape situations or what have you to try and trying to apply that to the whole, right? That's, I mean, there. The truth of the matter is there's not much of an argument. So you got to pick and pull. Oh, what about the small percentage of rape instances? What about all these men who are against it, and but all these women who are for it? The truth of the matter is there's nearly just as many women against abortion as there are men, right, and vice versa, right? So that's the truth. We have to look at the cold hard facts, right? But anyway, applying it to the song, it's the same with the song. There are many women who are against uh, downgrading the totality of who they are to their WAP. There are many women against that. So that's the second thing I noticed. They did the same thing with the song that they do with abortion and tried to turn it into a male versus female issue. And it is not that, right? It's a culture class. There's a culture who either grew up with stable families or they didn't have that, but they saw that in other people and aspired to stable families. They're fighting for that. Some people, because of where they come from, and it's not their fault, they don't understand the power in having a stable family and having a mom who's all there, having a dad who's all there, and raising like sane, productive children, right? It's something that I realized and I had to learn as I grew up, right? Which is why I'm big on stuff like this, right? I'm big on the family structure and things of that nature, and I'm also big and fervently against a lot of things that fight against the family structure. Now, this is the other thing that I want to say about WAP, and this is the same thing I say about rap and African American culture in general, right? When we want to promote like a Asian American, right, and say, oh yeah, Asian Americans they deserve equality, what do we promote? We promote the guy who invented some great invention, right? When we want to promote white people, what place in culture and white culture do we promote? We promote the guy who's a successful businessman, right? However, when want to promote African Americans, which place in culture do we promote? Do we promote the black guy who's an offender? Do we promote the black woman who helped, women feel good about themselves? No, we promote the person from the hood who shot a whole bunch of people, sold drugs, killed half the people in their neighborhood directly or indirectly, and raps about it in his music. We promote the woman who used to be a stripper and sell her body for some money and is talking about her W.A.P. We promote that person, and then we say black people have made it, right? We look at JC. Oh yeah, look at JC. He's doing good for a black man and blah blah blah. And what does he rap about? That's who we're going to promote, all the black people who did some great things. We have black inventors, we have intelligent black people. If you look at other races, they're inventors, they're philosophers, they're physical health experts. Those people are promoted, in Indian culture and Chinese and various Asian cultures, which is Indian culture, Caucasian American culture, etc., so on and so forth. There's dignity, right? But when you look at African American culture, like most cultures have a high class of people, a middle class, and a low class, right? In white culture, you have high class, middle class, and then you have what they call Triller, whatever, right? I don't want to say the other word because it's offensive to a lot of people, right? And African American culture, you have high class, middle class, and then you have the ghetto, right? And Indian American culture, you have various classes, right? And most cultures, they only promote their high class, and then maybe they tell stories about people who started low but made it to the high class, or people who were middle class or what have you. You don't, African American culture is the only culture where they say, this is where you want to be. You want to be here. I'm not talking about you start here and then you work your way up and and your mind doesn't change and you're still talking about the same stuff you were down here up here, right? I'm not talking about that, right? I'm talking about black African American culture is one of the only cultures where you promote this. You promote disrespecting women. That's the promotion. That's the goal of the song. Like, yeah, we don't love these. Like, that's the song, right? Um, I'm not saying that I used to not love these, but then I grew up and I became a man. And when I was a little boy and a teenager and I was just going through puberty and wilding out, yeah, we didn't love these, but I grew up and I matured and I became a father and a husband now, and I'm a man of dignity and honor, right? And people rely on me, right? And I get things done, right? No, we're not promoting that in African American culture. We're promoting this. We're promoting the gutter, right? We're promoting like the gutter, right? I understand that's where people come from, but you grow, you mature, you come up out of that, right? You don't promote that. Um, I know a number of people personally who are from there, and they're not promoting that. They're happy that they don't have to live that life anymore, right? And they're not promoting it like it's a thing to be, right? They have daughters, they have sons, and they're not telling their daughters, "Oh, you want to be like those girls. You want to be like those gutter." Like, no, they're saying, Find yourself a good, respectable man," right? That's the thing that bothers me about African American culture, and that's also the thing that bothers me about this song, right? Of all the things that you could use to say that this is like women's rights and we can promote women's rights, you're gonna use that, your WAP, that anyone, the mindset that wants to rationalize that as like a good song or a thing to be, that's twisted, right? You're either just ignorant, like you're from that place and that's just all you know, and you're just ignorant. You just don't know any better, right? Not necessarily because you're young, but that's just the only thing you've been around, right? You're ignorant. Two, you're trying to use it to get rich or to get promote it or whatever. Like you see some politicians do that. I'm not gonna name names, even though it's wildly obvious who I'm talking about. But you see some politicians um use that. You're so you either have to promote a song like that and say, oh, this is women's rights, right? Not the 70s or 80s or whatever poster of the woman and she was like this and she had like her working, not that, right? We're going to promote WAP. You either have to be have a twisted mindset, you have to be a politician trying to get some votes or something. But you're not like a rational. You're not a man, like a real legit man. You're not a woman. You're not like a whole woman, right? Promoting that song. You're just not, right? There's no way. Somebody either has to be paying you, like somebody. Okay, you have your show and somebody say, no, I want you to promote this, blah, 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 because we got to get this out there. And, whoever paid me money to make sure that I get this promoted. So then they try to convince you that this song, and then they give you this spill and they're like, oh, yeah, this song, it talks about this. And the reason why it's empowering is because men, they, uh, they get to have sex with anybody who they want and they act like they own it and everything. But no, we're gonna say that we own it, with our genitalia. Men are the only ones who own it with their genitalia. Women own it with ours as well. So it's like why is it that in order to compete, I'm gonna compete with the worst of the worst, right? I know it's just the culture, like hip hop, that's just the culture. You talk about horrible stuff, right? You talk about murder. Murder, you're removing someone's life. You're removing them from the face of the earth, right? They have families, they have loved ones, they have wives, they have mothers, they have sisters, and you're promoting killing someone. Like it's just a cool thing. You're promoting just doing whatever you want with a girl and then leaving her broken. We don't love these, you know leaving her emotionally broken and distraught and just spreading that like a disease in our cultures and society and what have you, right? That's what you're promoting. So I know hip hop, that's the nature of a lot of hip hop, right? Once upon a time we had poets, it's poetry and emotion, right? um Maybe not poetry and motion, maybe that's the wrong term for it. But like we had poets, but now it's like what are we talking about? Right? And I'm not saying that we didn't have some of that other stuff back then, but it's like what are we talking about, right? This is what we're promoting. I hope people, because a lot of times when you, especially in today's climate, when you talk about certain things that are controversial, people move instinctively instead of critically thinking, right? Um, there's always another side, and we have to critically think about the other side. You are going to lose your debate if you don't critically think about the other person's point and then come up with a reasonable counter to it, or say, you know what, I give you that one. What can I say, right? And then adjust or reorganize your approach or something, right? The only exception to that rule of debate is money, right? Sometimes when things don't make sense, just follow the money trail. Sometimes in order to gain votes, you need to promote stuff that doesn't make any sense, right? Sometimes to gain votes, you got to say things like, "Oh yeah, I believe Beyonce is, a good role model for my daughters," and then Beyonce goes on stage wearing a thong, shaking her butt, and talking about bow down, bitch, right? My name is Isaac Knight. I love you all with the love of the Lord. I promise you I do. I say this out of love. I love you all with the love of the Lord. I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace.